Hello and welcome back. If you're new, I'm Deirdre and today I'm talking about the upside of downsizing. There've been lots of upsides. People have asked me about it, so here I am. I'm going to give you my take on, now I've had some experience of the downsized life. I think I do a little comparison of the benefits I see in my life. But before I get into that, just let me say that some of you had mentioned that you are not seeing my videos, that they turn up randomly on your feed, and I'm not being that random about posting. That means that we probably haven't turned on the notification bell that sits beside the subscribe button, and if you haven't subscribed, then I'd love you to join, but if you like this sort of thing. But it's that notification bell really matters, so that's the only thing that lets YouTube, Google know that this is the type of video that you enjoy, and so hit that little notification bell and give me a like and we'll keep seeing each other. The other thing is that I've got a link down below in the description of my newsletter link, and that'll be coming out on the last Friday of every month, sort of like a summary of the month before. Yes, my January one sort of slipped into February, but not to worry, little slippage here and there, as long as it comes out. So that's something I'm focusing on, and there'll be occasional blog posts too, so I'm not going to swamp you. Like in my dreams I get to, the time to swamp people. So no swamping, no spamming, no nothing, that's not going to happen, but it's going to be there. So yeah, if you'd like to join the tribe in that way as well, then there'll be a description link down below. Now, I think the upsides of downsizing fall into three categories: physical, financial, and psychological. And they sort of overlap a bit, but anyway. So let's start up with the physical. Well, obviously, smaller space, it's faster and easier to clean. Straight up, that's a big plus. You don't have to say, hey, I'm going to have a spring cleaning month, because you can do it in a day and a half. That's top to bottom spring cleaning. You could probably do it in a day. And certainly just day to day, it's so simple. Run the vacuum round, dust, wash the floors. It's so simple. I love it. That side is a definite plus when you go to having a smaller space. It's much smaller, probably about less than a tenth of my former footprint, and believe me, it just knocks off so much work. One bathroom, just love one bathroom. Had 4.5 before. No, one is really good. Now that's just the inside. Because this is an apartment / condo, that's in Australia we don't make a distinction between these two types of ownership. Here in Australia we just call everything like this an apartment. So I don't have an outdoor space. And at this point, having been a gardener all my life, yes, I have a little balcony and I have an entranceway and I've got my plants and they're multiplying, and I have indoor plants for the first time in ages. But I don't have that the physical drain and of that sheer hard work of maintaining an acre property, which I had before. Was it healthy? Yes, it was. But because I now am living much closer to the city, I walk to places more. I walk to coffee shops, I walk to the train station, I walk to just even grab just normal small things that I'll carry back from the supermarket, or I have a big shopping area not far from me, and all within 5-10 minute walk. So that's sort of the physical upside, that you choose your exercise and you're not physically tied to the large home. Number 2 is financial. Now, it's a real benefit financially, and this isn't actually because of the initial capital outlay. You can spend what you like, and if you have a really big budget, you can have a very beautiful small space home, or the same way that you can have a very beautiful large space home. So the actual capital cost is something that you can choose, where you position yourself. But in terms of day-to-day living and the ongoing costs of running a smaller property, wow, that's where the savings come in. So obviously, straight up, utility costs are far smaller. My heating is, because I'm heating a smaller space, so in the winter, my heating is very low, the cost, and the cost of running my air conditioning, well, I have a split system, so it's actually the same thing that heats and cools, but it's so low. Really, an efficient property to start with because it warms. It's been well designed, so it warms in the winter with the low sun coming in. The low sun is blocked in the summer. I mean, the high sun is blocked in the summer, so it doesn't get too much sun in the summer. Wee bit. I use blinds and things to block that out, but it stays pretty cool day in, day out. And then when I do have to use the air conditioner, it cools the house really quickly. So I think utility costs are very low. Now, the other area where I've found lots of good financial savings is, of course, running my car, because I don't run my car anywhere near as much as I used to. Yes, I still go and see friends around the city, and that's always going to take fuel. But the main thing is that I use public transport a lot because I'm 5 minutes from a train station and 15-20 minutes to the city, depending how many stops along the way. So yes, public transport means lower sort of day-to-day costs for getting around, which means lower fuel prices, lower fuel costs. The prices in Australia are really high, and also lower service costs because my car's not going into service as often, which is a really good. That's a plus. And number 3 is psychological, and this is really big as well, because even though where I lived before I had lovely neighbours and I still see them, here there are 16 dwellings and we all know each other, and we don't live in each other's pockets, and there's a real diversity in age and occupation and personality. So it's like living in an old-fashioned village, I suppose, in some ways. A small old-fashioned village. We had 16 little houses, and we're good neighbours, but we also have a little bit more than that. I have some friendships here, some really good friendships, but also we do things as a community as well. We have a Christmas get-together. The other day, one of the former residents, but he passed away, so there was a little get-together, a little Vale Warwick moment, and I thought that was fabulous. I mean, I hadn't known him, but they said, no, come anyway. So it just became a little community get together in an afternoon. That sort of thing. If people get stuck, they can say, help, can you help with this? Can you help with that? Oh, I'm locked out. Do you have the spare key? That sort of thing is fantastic. Plus, it's lovely just to hear people coming and going. Now, we're all very quiet. I mean, we have very young people here. We have much, much, much older people than me, everything in between. And as a result, you think, it could be parties, it could be... No, we're all really respectful of each other's space, which leads to a really good feeling of security. There's always somebody coming and going, things like post, we sign for each other's parcels, those sorts of things. I'm not saying it's perfect, nowhere is, but in general, it's safe, it gives you a feeling of knowing the community you live in. You don't feel isolated, but you also feel very private. It's got all the pluses. We've got our own front doors. We're not having to share, a lift or anything like that. So that's very, very good. It's a great design. This building should be replicated it's a 1960s building, beautifully built. But if it was replicated with a few changes across the city, I think that a lot of people would find that it's a fabulous design. And of course, also in the psychological side of it, I have been relieved of the stress of maintaining an acre property. I was constantly having to do the garden, water the garden, make sure the pump for the water was working, make sure that the waste processing system was working, because everything was contained within the block. I was having to rake up all the little branches and the leaves and the things that came down on a daily basis, clean the roof, make sure the gutters didn't block, make sure that the drains didn't block, make sure that when it had huge downpours and the drains were a little bit too small, I actually put my hand up for bigger ones, but I was told that these were perfectly adequate, so I don't know in that. But the drainage needed to be much, much bigger to cope with the sort of deluges that we have these days. I didn't have to worry about trees blowing down. Been there, done that, don't have to worry about all of those day-to-day maintenance issues that were just normal for me. I don't have to cut 90 metres of hedge anymore. Yes, these sorts of things. The stress of that property, and I know that's an extreme example, not having that is so good. It's so good. So yes, there we are. These are just the ones I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure that there are more, and I'd love to hear what your experiences have been, but also what your concerns are about downsizing, because I think that's really interesting. I'd love to hear what you've done and what you're worried about if you do downsize and when you do downsize. Let me know. I think that could be an interesting conversation we could all have. So don't forget to click on the link down in the description if you would like to get my monthly newsletter, and perhaps also a blog once a month. I'm thinking maybe one blog, one newsletter. Let me know what you think. Anyway, the link's down there if you want to sign up. And I hope that whatever you're doing today, that you're having a lovely time. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.